This is Never Down, Never Out with T.R. Matson. This podcast is about discipline when motivation fades, resilience when things get hard, and showing up when quitting would be easier. No hype, no shortcuts, just the mindset required to build something real, one day at a time. Let's get into it. Welcome back. We're on to week 2, day 8 of this series. Pretty amazing for me. I don't know if you're enjoying it quite yet. Seems like there's been pretty good feedback, but I'm happy to still be here. So we're on day 8 of the first 30 days, which if you remember or if you haven't watched the first couple, invite you to go back and give it a view or listen. But this is the fundamentals of mental toughness, this first 30 days. So this is day 8. So yesterday we talked about why comfort is the enemy of growth. Today we're going to build on that a little bit more and talk about what the true cost of staying the same is. And we'll get into that here in a second. I want to thank you all again for all the feedback, positivity, sticking with me on this. Again, it's a journey that we're all going through together, I think, and I think we'll all grow through what we go through here. So the cost of staying the same. This one kind of hit me interesting when I thought about it this morning, because I once heard a pastor say, nobody goes through life thinking it's okay to be mediocre. I just want to stay mediocre and just keep doing what I'm doing, and that's it until I die. And I thought about that. And I can't speak for everyone. I could really only speak for myself or maybe a little bit for the people that are close to me. But I've always had that burning desire deep down. Now, I'm not going to sit here, like I told you at the beginning of this, I'm going to be honest and authentic with you, even if that means unwrapping parts of myself to the internet that I might not normally do. But I'm not going to sit here and BS you and tell you that I've been super motivated my whole life and that I've accomplished things. I mean, the reality of it is, in high school, I graduated 2 from the bottom of my class. My first year of college, I all but failed out of it. So those 2 data points right there don't speak to a person who is constantly looking to grow. It speaks to quite the opposite. I was perfectly happy being mediocre at those points in my life and just kind of going through the motions. And it was an interesting time for me because my priorities were different in high school and first year of college. I didn't really have a lot of direction. So I think that was a contributing factor, not an excuse, right? We were not making excuses. It was just a factor. And so as I look back on that, it wasn't that I wanted to be mediocre. It's just that I was stuck. I didn't really have direction. I didn't really know where to go. And I think if I really peel back the onion peel here and look at this, it's those moments that really define us. Because once I got latched on to a goal, and in my case it was becoming a Navy pilot, in my second year of college, then it was, I had that goal and I drove forward with the idea that I wasn't going to stay the same. I had to change as an individual. I had to study harder. I had to be more focused. I had to go out and party less. I had to get in better shape. I had to basically transform who I was in almost every aspect of my life. And that's hard. That is hard. But let's take a step back and go, well, what if that didn't happen? what would the cost be? Well, let's be honest, I basically failed out of my first year of school, college. If I hadn't really had a gut check into change, who's to say that I wouldn't have done the same thing at the new school and not completed college, university? Not to say that you have to go to college, but it would have set me up on a downward trend that at best case scenario, my life would have been stagnant and I would have just gone through the motions. And I think of all the things that I've done since that moment and all the things I still have to do. And I'm truly grateful that I, for whatever reason, changed. So as I look back, even at the times where things were going well, I had achieved my goal of being a Navy pilot. I was flying on and off aircraft carriers. I could have just done my job, gone through the motions, even done well, frankly. But I had this thought in my head that I wanted to fly fighters. And I've always said the reason for that was because I didn't want to be an old man sitting on a rocking chair on a front porch of a house wondering if I could have done it. I would rather be the person who tried it and failed than the person who wondered, what if? So as we go through and we look at what you're dealing with today, what goals are on your plate, or maybe there aren't any goals. Maybe you are in that rut. Maybe you're stagnant. If you don't like the feeling that you have when your feet hit the floor, when the alarm goes off and you crawl out of bed, if you're not moving with purpose towards something, and that something can be anything. I've told you at the beginning of this, I'll probably use more flight school and aviation analogies than others, but that's because it's what I know. But if you don't start your day with the idea of moving towards a purpose to lose weight, purpose to pass a class, build stronger relationships, be a better person, if you're not moving with that purpose, then it's time to change. Because what are you waiting for? Let's think about it this way. We are here on this planet for only so long. Do we know the purpose of life? Some people say they do. Most probably don't fully understand it. But one thing I could say with a level of confidence is the purpose of life is not just to exist and to be here. There's more to it than that. Whether that is achieving your own goals, whether that is helping others achieve their goals, whether it's building up the people around you while you build up yourself. There's something more than just existing. A life of pure existence is a sad life, in my opinion. I believe we're supposed to be here, or we are here with a purpose of growing. And the only way you grow is sometimes with change. But it's hard, right? Change is hard. Nobody likes change. I mean, I laugh, I've talked to my wife about moving, and she's like, moving is hard. And I was like, is it? Well, I moved 14 times in 13 years in the military, between all the flight school moves and college to flight school and different duty stations. Now, I haven't moved in 8 years. It probably would be hard to move. But she would laugh because I'm like, moving's not hard. It's easy. She goes, well, that's because you have done it. You've become an expert at it. To the average person, moving from their home is a huge deal. It is a huge change. It's very hard. So we often lose touch with reality as to what is difficult for some may not be difficult for others. But overall, change is hard. If you're overweight and not happy with how you look, it's hard to eat the right foods, to exercise, to not snack, to not cheat on your diet. If you're mending a relationship with somebody, it's hard to change your behaviors to listen more than talk and to truly hear what that person is saying more than just hearing what you want to hear. It's very difficult. So while we can accept that change is hard, we need to look at our future selves and realize the cost of not changing, the cost of staying the same. And truly, the cost of staying the same for a lifetime is regret. If you're doing the same thing constantly and you're not in a happy place and you haven't reached your equilibrium and your terminal velocity on life, on where every day is driven with purpose, then you're really, really seriously close to a life of regrets. The saying that I love is tells a story about an old man on his deathbed. And in the hospital room, he gets visited by all of his dreams that went unfulfilled. And they talk to him and say, "We came to you because you had the ability. You had the physical ability and strength to make us come to life. And now we die with you unfulfilled." That scares me, right? I don't know what it's going to be like at the end, but the last thing I want is to be filled with regret. And that is something that goes all the way back to my Navy days. Was it the smartest decision on paper to switch communities and to take something that I knew and flying the E-2 and switch over to flying F-18s? Logically, no. I mean, in fact, people would tell you it was a career killer, and it may have been in some aspects. But as I look back on those decisions and where I sit in life today, was that change worth it? 100%. Because either way, I would be done with the Navy at this point, whether I had made that transition or not. And I can only imagine what it would be like to sit here, a captain at the airlines, talking to you, still an author of books, all those things, but in the back of my mind just wondering, what if? What if? Now, if anybody's heard me talk before, for me it's a no-brainer, because when I made that change, I met my wife, and we have 2 beautiful kids, and all of those things happened because of where flying fighters put me on this planet, and it brought us together. So it's very easy to look back and go, "Whew, that was the right decision. Look at my family now. We are truly blessed. I couldn't imagine a life without them." But when you're in the moment and you're comfortable in your space, like we talked about yesterday, and you're looking up against the change that you would need to really get on a different path, it's scary. And I want to let you know that it's okay. It's okay to be scared. But with that fear and with that anxiety comes great, great possibilities. You have the chance to really start living the life that you're meant to live on this planet and not just existing. But it all starts with change. If you think about it, what's the saying? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Maybe that applies to your goals today. Maybe you're sitting there today going, "I just don't get it. I'm working. I'm doing it. I'm trying. I'm getting determined. I'm getting the discipline. I've gotten past just the motivation phase. I don't understand why nothing's changing. Well, you have to take a hard look at yourself and say, am I really just the same person I was and I'm working harder? Am I just spinning my wheels? Or have I really changed my habits, my focus, how I'm using my time? Have I really, really changed that in a manner that would help achieve the goals I'm trying to make? And I bet if you find yourself stuck and you have an honest conversation with yourself, which those are the hardest ones, we're at our most vulnerable when we do that. But if you have an honest conversation with yourself and ask yourself, while you've defined the goals you want to achieve, have you changed the behavior that you need to in order to achieve those goals? There's a fair chance the answer is, well, not really. And if that's the case, that's where we start. We start today, we think about that change. That change could be a mindset shift, it could be habitual. It could be getting up and walking 20 minutes before you start your day, or doing some sort of physical activity just to snap your body into the day. It could be making checklists the night before. It could be setting out your clothes or ironing your shirt for work so you look professional. It could be any one of those things. But that change is the catalyst to you achieving those goals in the future. And I'm here to tell you, I've seen it. I've seen it in myself, and I've seen it in others close to me. The cost of staying the same is massive. There's not a debt in the world financially that can be greater than the cost of you being on your deathbed at the end of this life, at the end of this time here, and you look back and go, if only I had changed. If only I had stopped drinking, if only I had mended those relationships, if only I had looked and taken care of my health more, if only I had really, really given myself a chance to achieve the goal that I thought about my whole life, the dream that came to me and that now is going to die with me unfulfilled. I don't want that for any of you. If anything comes out of this podcast, this episode to me is massively important. I hope it snaps people into realizing that this is a real threat. It happens to us all, but the cost is massive. You can make the change. I believe in you. I know you can. The fact that you're still listening tells me you want to. Let's take those steps together. Let's look at what we need to do to get to where we want to be. And let's live a life to where we're on that deathbed, we smile because we've lived a full life. And those goals won't die with us. Those dreams are not dying. They're celebrating because they were brought to life. Thanks again. I appreciate all the support. It warms my heart. Keep being good to other people around you. Keep being good to yourself. And we'll talk soon. If this episode helped you, don't just listen, apply it. Progress is built in what you do after the message ends. Remember, never down, never out. I'll see you tomorrow.